Retro Ghetto.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Ghetto vlog, and I am making a very early start to the vlog this week. In a strange turn of Ghetto vlogs events, you guys are actually ahead of me because you'd have seen Wednesday's game room tour. The room is certainly not game room tour ready as we speak. I wanted to show you guys the process of a lot of jobs in here that we still need to do to get game room tour ready. Also, it's a bit of a different week this week because this weekend is the road trip weekend, the game hunting weekend, going to Sawthorne, going to York, going to Leeds Retro Game Market. So excited. But what that does mean is it's a slightly shorter week for me. So yeah, we're kicking off the vlog very early, and as always, there's lots to be getting on with, as well as all the game room changes in here that need to be catalogued. We're going to be, of course, going out doing some game hunting. I've got a bag full here of charity shop finds and a gift. And guys, I quite often say on these vlogs that I've got a parcel coming I'm excited about, or there's a CEX lottery on its way, but this week there's a very special parcel on its way. It might be the best selection of games I've ever opened on this channel, full stop. I'm so excited. We've got a box full of retro, somewhat expensive, hard to come across games that I've been after for years, and I mean years. I don't want to use the Grails word. I might use the Grails word. It might well be Grails. As you can tell, I'm excited. So that should be arriving during this vlog as well. So as soon as we get that, we're going to be ripping that open because I can't wait to get into those. And yeah, lots to be cracking on with. But if you saw last week's vlog, you'll know when I nipped out, I found this like Lego tape style stuff. So that's what we're going to be cracking on with now. I want to be getting the Lego figures rearranged, ready for the game room tour. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Right, okay, so my plan is to take my Lego army and basically line them up across this available shelf that we've now got, using the tape, put them all to the front, arrange them all in such a nice way that they look good, they're all symmetrical, because I'm just one of them people, right? I love things to have symmetry. Also move the shelf up so we've really got a very small gap here below the PlayStation 1 section. That will also leave us with a nice big shelf underneath for anything that we need to house, which is more difficult to house because of the size of it. So yeah, let's just get straight into it, shall we? Okay, so you can see this is the tape. It's like a rubberized sort of texture, but as you can see, perfect for a Lego minifigure. So this comes with a self-adhesive strip. So my plan is to cut it, use the whole length across the Billy bookcase shelf, but I don't want to put it right to the very edge of the shelf because the weapons and stuff will protrude, and then every time I walk past I end up knocking them over. So I'm going to play around with it, try and work out the exact dimensions and specifications to where it should go, but I'm thinking roughly something like that, so we'll leave a small gap for weapons and such, and yeah, then we'll get it stuck on, and then it's the fun job of getting all these bad boys put into some sort of order that looks good. Okay, that's now placed, stuck down. That's for the fun job. Okay, so the lineup's pretty much complete. And yeah, really happy with that. I really went out of my way to make sure it was symmetrical, so everybody to the left of the Emperor has their weapon in the left hand, everybody to the right of the Emperor has a weapon in the right hand. Obviously they've all been equally spaced, and yeah, I think it looks really cool. I do have a few additional ones here, but I'm trying to keep it symmetrical, so these all get added as I add a duplicate figure, so I can then grow it by 2 if that makes sense. But yeah, now what I'm going to do is bump the shelf up as far as I can, just so it's a real tiny shelf up there, and then that'll be the Lego army complete. Okay, that is that done. I'm really happy with how that's come together. It looks even better than I imagined. I had to move every single one down a block because there was too many studs on this side, and it was just taking my eye off when I looked at it, but it's now pretty much bang on. This will evolve over time, obviously, as the army grows. I could always drop the shelf down a notch and then like build up from the back, so I could have like a second row behind it, but slightly raised. As it grows, I could also potentially do a battle scene. There's loads I've got planned for this Lego army. But yeah, obviously it's slow growth. We've spoken about on the channel before. These Roman Lego minifigures are not cheap. So yeah, it's slow growth, but really happy with how that's come together. Now we're going to get tidied up, and then we'll take a look at this. Oh man, I'm so happy with how that's come together. Anyway, let's play a game of what's in the bag, shall we? So in here I have a gift and, as I say, some charity finds. So we'll start with the gift. I honestly have no clue as to what this is, what is in this. I think I know who it's from. Let's have a look. Before we get into this, actually, the only other thing I need to update you guys on is, you might have seen over recent weeks we've had some problems with that back window. There was a bit of a leak. It's thankfully all been sorted now. So just a couple of days ago I had a builder out. He came round, and we originally thought it was a sealant issue, but it turns out it wasn't. He was sort of scratching his head. We took the whole window apart, took the window off the wall, so the glass was out. I don't know the technical term for it, but basically the window pane itself sits on two little they're just little black plastic spacers that sit between the actual glass and the window frame. Now, all window frames have outlet holes with which to let the rainwater disperse. And what had happened is one of these black plastic spacers was covering that window hole when it had been put in. He said everything had been done right and the holes were as they should be, but the black plastic spacer had just been moved to the point where it was covering one of the exit holes. And as a result, water was building up, and then it will come out the only way it's possible, which is actually coming out via the handle. So yeah, it's all sorted now, thankfully. Sort of tested it and everything, so that should be the end of that saga. And all I need to do now is just sort of sand and repaint the area where we had the water damage. So yeah, but all good. Shout out to the builders, they were very helpful. First thing he said to me when he got here was, well, if we can't fix it, I'll just get you a new one, mate. So I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. But anyway, that's one saga over. Let's get into this parcel then. There's a note, thank gosh. Okay, so I always say don't send me stuff. I've never asked for people to send me anything, but if you do send me something, please send me a note. It's great for me to have the note so I know exactly what's been sent from whom, and not only that, but I like to keep the notes in with the stuff. So if someone sends me a game, I always keep the notes in with the game, so if I'm ever flicking through years from now and I open it, it's nice to be remembered as to who sent it and, you know, their sentiments behind it and stuff. So that's fantastic. So let's get into the note. Dear Callum, in brackets, the king of Super Nintendo. I won't go that far. I won't go that far. Let's see if we can complete the full set before we give you the crown, right? Really love the channel, mate. It's one of my favourites. Thank you very much. I saw this little trinket and thought of you straight away. Hope you can get some use out of it in the 3.0. Also enclosed is a 360 game I noticed you didn't have. Much love, Wayne over at Wayne's Retro World. Shout out to Wayne's Retro World. I remember now, I think I remember the game that he said he was sending to me. I think it was off the back end of something we picked up the other week. But let's get into that then, shall we? Let's see what's in here. Oh, okay. Right, so this must be the trinket. Right, okay, so I can see what it is. I'll definitely get use out of this, Wayne. So this is a Super Nintendo glass. You know me well, sir. Yeah, man. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Much appreciated, my friend. Yeah, man. That'll definitely be getting used in here. More so in the summer, because during these months, I'm more of a tea man. But let's see what game he sent me. I know now actually what game he sent me. So, Wayne sent me, this is what he messaged me about, a copy of SmackDown vs Raw 2008. I've picked up recently, I think, SmackDown vs Raw 2007. And Wayne messaged me saying, this is a good game, he noticed I didn't have it and he wanted to add it to my Xbox 360 collection. So massive shout out to Wayne for that one. I didn't realise this was featuring ECW, so that puts an interesting spin on it. And as I've said a few times now, similar to my Pro Evo collection, I do enjoy delving back into the back catalogue of WWE games, just going back through those wrestlers. And yeah, I'm not an avid watcher of modern day wrestling. I kind of keep abreast of what's going on to some extent. I watch like Royal Rumble, I kind of watch WrestleManias, that kind of thing, but I'm very distant with wrestling these days. But I do still have a keen interest on old school wrestling. I watch a lot of documentaries, a lot of interviews and things like that, and shoots on the old school wrestling, the era I grew up with. So I still find that kind of stuff fascinating, the backroom stuff, rather than actually watching modern day wrestling. But as little man gets bigger and older, he wants to watch it more and more, so I'll probably get sucked back in over time. A massive shout out to Wayne for that. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much, my friend. And that takes me to this bag of charity finds. So, my good friend Carl was at charity shop hunting, and he sent me some, I think it was like videos or pictures, and people love to pull me into VHS, right? I don't collect VHS, I keep saying that, but everyone seems to keep wanting me to. It's like the universe seems to want me to collect it. He sent me this like video and pictures, and I just saw numerous VHS for a couple of different franchises. They were ridiculously cheap. This whole bag cost £2. It was actually, they charged him less than it was listed at. And I just said, grab me the whole franchise of this and that. So I've not been through this bag. I don't know exactly what's in here. So let's just do it together, shall we? So the first one is Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo versus Mew. Now this one could come with a Pokemon card. There's no Pokemon card in here, but I love that yellow VHS tape. And yeah, this was only the real only Pokemon movie I watched. I wasn't massive in Pokemon growing up. Later in life I discovered the games for the Game Boy, so red, yellow and blue. And that was kind of like my gateway into Pokemon. But I did watch this movie. Well, what else have we got in here? We have got Pikachu's Winter Vacation. I'm just checking, there's no mould on these so far. Top tip, if you ever buy a VHS, definitely check for mould, because I've had it myself before where you open it up and there's mould on the tape. The Pokemon movie 2000. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these guys, I ain't got a clue. But I know that, as I say, little man's getting into Pokemon as well. Pokemon the first movie, this is just an advertisement. Oh man, this is so cool. Yes, so look at all this old school Pokemon items. The whole N64 set, Game Boy. Speaking of the original trilogy, there it is. My brother had that great Game Boy Color as well. I love things like this. This is pure nostalgia, man. Play them, collect them, talking plush Pikachu. What else have we got here? Love stuff like that. Love stuff like that. I don't think I've seen Pokemon 2000, so maybe that'll be the first one that me and little man watched together. Okay, what's this? Pokemon the movie 3, so that's what, all 3 Pokemon movies I think thus far. Yep, again, nice yellow VHS tape and no mould. Okay, so we've got a big one. 6 full episodes, volume 5 and 6. Is this the original Pokemon? I think it is. This is where I'm at. I can't remember what the original series is called, but this was like what I later got into. I was like, the original, what, 150 Pokemons was there? That was me. I never sort of went beyond that. I never got beyond... I never liked the games that weren't Ash. I don't know, just me. So this is TV series. We've got Thundershock and Seaside Pikachu. What else we got here? The Mystery of Mount Moon. So that's volume 2. So we got them all. So we've got volume 2, volume 6. What's this one? Volume 10. Wow. Yeah, my boy's on there, look. Is that Machamp, Machoke? Pikachu with boxing gloves on. Oh, this is in here. And we've got volume 1, I Choose You Pikachu. So that's a good place to start. So we've got 1, 2, 5, 6 and 10 as it stands. And this is a weird one. So this is an ex-Blockbuster rental. Blockbuster Pokemon, this is volume 2, but it's in like a cardboard sleeve. 98p this was sold for. The Mystery of Mount Moon. I think that's all the Pokemon. So yeah, nice selection of Pokemon VHS. Oh man, what am I doing with my life? And This, I just saw this on the video clip he sent me and I had to have it. Now I feel like I'm gonna have to buy the others. So this is The Land Before Time, but it's in this like box set. This is just nostalgia, man, just memories. This just takes me back to my grandma's house, watching the Land Before Time movies. But this is like the second box set. So this is episodes 4, 5 and 6. So I feel like I need to buy 1, 2 and 3 now. This is what happens, right? I don't want to collect VHS. But this will be perfect for Mini Ghetto. Me and Little Man watched these when he was younger. He loved them, he loved dinosaurs, and I'm sure Mini Ghetto will probably go the same way. So yeah, I love having the VHS player in here. It just adds something different, right? So you can come in here and we'll watch them together. So that's kind of the thinking behind adding The Land Before Time. So yeah, I've got a load of VHS, nowhere to put it, but I couldn't leave it behind. All of that was £2. A massive shout out to Carl for doing that, much appreciated. Yeah, I think we need to get back to the jobs now, and hopefully Postman's going to be bringing that box soon, because yeah, some Grails coming. Okay, so I have managed to get all those VHS put away. I've been cleaning, I've been tidying, a bit more shelf arranging. The next job for me is to go and sort out the Ghetto gym. I'm going to show that briefly on the vlog because there's going to be a lot of work done in the gym this year, so it'd be nice to be able to document that. And then from there, we are going to jump into the issues that we've had on here. So we're going to have to do a bit of sanding, a bit of painting, and there's a few other areas that we need to touch up with the paint. So yeah, these are all the jobs that I want to get done now so it can dry, and then we can get the room completely clean, ready for its tour. Okay, so first coat of painting is done. So the few touch-ups that we had over here are looking good. We'll do a second coat, of course. Wasn't quite as straightforward over in the window ledge. It looks loads better here in the corner where I had that damage. However, maybe the damage was a bit worse than I thought, or maybe it wasn't quite as dry as I thought, because you can see it started to like bubble a little bit. This will settle down once it dries, but what we'll have to do is do a proper job on this at some point this year. I'll probably strip it all back and repaint the whole area. I thought it was more dry than it was, but yeah, it still looks a lot better than it did before, with all the sort of like brown, and there was a lot of markings here. It doesn't really come through on camera, but yeah, whilst that's drying, we're going to be cracking on with some other stuff. Okay, so I decided to take a quick fresh air break, and my legs happen to have taken me towards the local charity shop, so let's see what they've got. Okay, so that little fresh air break wasn't bad at all. So you will see the first shop I nipped into, the lady had a couple of games for me in the back. There's like 4 PSP games, 2 of them were worth grabbing, 2 weren't. So the first one I grabbed was Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. This has got £4 trading on it. And the next one I picked up was Need for Speed Most Wanted, which has £2 trading on it. They only charge £1 each for games there, so not bad at all. And then in my other local, you'll see all the 360 games. Now, we saw those 360 games last week. They're in the back still. I don't know if I just missed this or if this had been added to the pile since, but they're still giving £4 trading for Grand Theft Auto 5 on the 360. This cost me £1.50, so for a total of £3.50 spent, there's £10 CEX trading there. So yeah, not too bad at all. I managed to stretch my legs, managed to get some fresh air. I got 3 video games, and arguably even better, I got a Freddo. And now we're back. I've just applied the second coat there, so all those marks are now covered. That'll be perfect once dry. And as predicted, the window ledge area has settled down. As you can see, that gap settled right down. This could do with another coat or two, but because of how it reacted last time, I'm just going to leave it. We'll tackle this again, as I say, in a few weeks or months. We'll let it settle for a bit. It certainly looks a lot better on the eye for the room tour, so it's better than it was. Now, however, I need to make a decision about the Mega Drive light. So this is something that I've been sort of, had lying around the room for months now. This was kindly made for me by Kev. It's an amazing piece. It's just whether it works up there, because it does look great without it, and by putting it up there I'll lose the amount of games I can have up there. But we're going to try it so I can make a decision once and for all. Okay, so it's up on the wall, as you can see. So this is the moment of truth. I'm going to flick the switch, we'll see it with the light on, and then we can decide whether it's worth sacrificing the space for the games. Yeah, let's take a look. Wow. I mean, there's no denying that it looks great. It's just, is it worth the sacrifice of how many games? Also, it annoys me that it encroaches above the light, because I like to keep the light running clear as much as possible. The SNES sign slightly encroaches it, but let's see what it looks like with the lights on. Okay, after much thought, consideration, lighting examples, angles, I've decided I love it, but I'm taking it down. And the reason being is my biggest bugbear is that it covers the LED strip behind it. So what myself and Kev are going to do at some point is we're going to get a different backing for it, slightly shorter. So it's going to sit exactly like that, but it's going to sit below the LED strip. And we might even also try and just bring it in slightly each side as well, so I could potentially get another game on. Because at the minute, it's not giving me equidistant. I've got one more game that side than that side. But yeah, I mean, there's no denying how fantastic it looks. There's just a couple of issues that we need to get ironed out before it takes pride of place. Hopefully, by the 2025 game room. Wow, sounds crazy saying 2025. Hopefully by next year's game room tour, that'll be in place and looking perfect. But I think for now, it's going to have to come down. Right, job done. So basically spent the last couple of hours cleaning every inch of this room. Polished everything, hoovered, cleaned the carpets, made sure everything on the shelves was exactly as it should be, everything perfectly arranged, and yeah, we're there. Finally, it's done. I'm going to spend the next couple of days now filming and editing the room tour, which hopefully you guys have already seen. Then I'm going to check back in with you guys, which for you will be like instantaneous. But by then, I should definitely have that parcel I've been waiting on as well. So yeah, in terms of me, I'll check you in a couple of days, in a bit. Hey! Hey! Are you looking at the cows? Are you looking at the cows? Not impressed. Right, so as I say, a couple of days have passed, and the reason that this smile is etched on my face is not only because the Game Room Tour 2024 is filmed, edited, ready to go live, and I now get to reap the rewards of that effort, right? Because I get to sit here in this perfect games room, all clean, everything immaculate. There's not many better feelings, right? And hopefully get to do some gaming in here tonight. More so than any of that, my parcel has arrived. So obviously I keep speaking about this. It's finally time. This has actually been here for over a day now, and I've resisted the urge to do it until my room tour was edited and ready. But just before we get into this, I just wanted to talk to you guys about the PlayStation 1 games. So if you watched a video I did, I think a week or so ago now, I sold, I think, 8 PlayStation 1 titles. I was going to initially trade in more, trade them into CEX, because the prices had gone so high on them, and I thought it was a bit of an anomaly, to be honest. At the time I mentioned how I'd checked eBay and some of the games were selling for less than what CEX had given me in terms of voucher price for, so I didn't really understand what CEX's strategy was. But it turns out I think they've just made a mistake. I think they're overpriced. I think maybe either they've seen some YouTube content, social media awareness, or maybe they just had such an influx of PlayStation 1 games it forced them to look at it, because those games that I sold for £89 worth of voucher, just a week or so later they now give £55 for. So it's a massive, what, £34 difference. I was very surprised by how much they were giving, and I'm glad I jumped on it when I did, because yeah, they seem to have reset their pricing. I don't know if that means that their sale prices have come down. One would hope so. I'm sure somebody in the comments will be able to let me know in terms of what they're selling games for, if they've come down in price. I didn't ever keep abreast of what they were selling them for at the time, really. I was just concentrating on what they were giving me in terms of trade, because I'm not a big PS1 collector. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it. You know, I had a lot of people saying to me, like, you know, everyone had a different theory on whether I should or shouldn't have sold or let go of some of my PlayStation 1 games. But yeah, it would seem that it was definitely the right time to do so. But anyway, back to this. So in here we have 3 games. Now, it's often said that the term Grail gets overused, thrown around too much, and I'm probably guilty of that myself on occasion. But I mean, how do we define a Grail? If we define a Grail by something that's hard to find, something you've wanted for years, something that's expensive, uncommon, rare, then there's definitely at least a couple of Grails in here. So there's 3 Super Nintendo games in here. Spoiler alert, probably not really. The Super Nintendo cardboard in here. Of the 3 games, 1 is good, 2 are fantastic. I've never seen any of these games in stock at CEX. I got these privately through a sale with Holy Grail Toys, who have some fantastic stuff. Make sure you go and check him out on Instagram. To my knowledge, he still has some other Super Nintendo cardboard available. I had to limit myself. He had some real heavy hitters, and he also had some, yeah, just some absolute bangers. And yeah, make sure you go and check him out on Instagram, because he has a lot of very good stuff. So the time has come to finally open this. I've been sitting on this box for like too long now, because I've been waiting to get the room tour done before I allowed myself this privilege. This is like my reward. So let's get into it. I'm going to arrange them in such a way that I open them in reverse order, right? Because as I say, there is one that's like, not mid-level game, but probably, yeah, mid-level, but still uncommon. And then the other 2 are, yeah, games I've been after for a long, long time, as I say. As you would expect, they are very well packaged. There's loads of, like, what they called these things in here. Packing peanuts, is that what they're called? Right, okay. Like I say, let's get into this in a reverse order. Right, okay, so first game that we are pulling out of the box. Let's put the box up here. First game to come out of the box is Asterix and Obelix. This Infogrames developed platformer came out in 1995, and in the original game, which I own, it's Asterix's mission to rescue Obelix, and this time around you can play as either Asterix or Obelix in a game which is widely regarded as being better than the first. The graphics are improved, the gameplay is somewhat improved, and like I say, you can also now play as a 2-player co-op, which is fantastic. And very much in keeping with the comics and the storyline. I'm not a huge Asterix fan. I think it's something that was bigger in other parts of Europe than it was here in the UK. But I do appreciate it, and as I say, I do have fond memories of this first game from when I was a child, so it's always nice to pair the set together. As you'll be seeing on screen now, the graphics are really nice. You play for a wide range of different locations. There's also different mini games in here, such as rugby. And yeah, just one that's very uncommon here in the UK. It's one that you see more often throughout Europe, as I say, where the franchise was more popular. There are actually none available right now on UK complete eBay. There was one sold for about £50, but the majority of the listings that you will see for this title are in sort of like France and Germany. And yeah, if you were to have them posted, it would sell for roughly in and around £50. But I would say an uncommon game. One I'm very happy to have because, like I say, it just completes the set now. I've already had the original Asterix. A lot of nostalgia with that one. And it would be nice to play what is, by all accounts, a similar game but a superior version. Manual, really nice condition. Cartridge. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's some sort of... Oh, nice. I didn't even know there was a poster in here. So that's a bonus. Yeah, always nice when you get posters in with Super Nintendo games. As you can see, it's in French. Beautiful artwork. And then there's some more information about it on the back. What's it say on the back? Asterix Park is fun. Oh, so there was like an Asterix theme park. Like I say, Asterix was massive. I think in France in particular. But yeah, so that was my sort of like mid-range game. But still an uncommon title. So one that I am happy to add. And it's just nice to complete a little subset, if you can call two games a subset. But I do now have both Asterix games for the Super Nintendo. I'm just going to put the stuff back in. There we go. So the Asterix games can go together over there. And now we turn our attention to the heavier hitters. So these next two are games that, like I say, I've been after for a long, long time. I said recently how going into this year I had goals and I was just hoping I could add more heavy hitters to my collection. And my experience so far with Super Nintendo collecting is you can never really have too much of a defined plan. You can never really say I want this game and that game, because it's about what comes available, when it comes available, and for how much it comes available for. Because if you go on eBay and start doing buy it now prices, yeah, you'll be spending a lot of money fast. I was lucky enough to get some bangers last year. And yeah, 2024 has started off with a bang itself. So, the next game I want to pull out of here is... Where are we? Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday. Unsurprisingly, this 1995 release is a platform game. You play through Porky's Nightmares. There's 6 levels to get through here. There's no save and no passwords, and apparently the levels are very long, so you have to strap yourself in for quite a ride with this one. As you'll be seeing, the visuals are fantastic. Everything that you would want from a game representing the source material of a cartoon from this era. I love collecting cartoon Super Nintendo games. You'll be seeing my shelf now. It's almost a subset that I'm going for, but games like this have just been on my radar for so long, and it's just nice to finally tick them off. Very hard to find. The lowest price one available on eBay right now is £200, and yeah, just a game that I'm looking forward to playing. You guys know that I love my 90s themed platformers, and one of the weird things about this game that sort of sets it apart from virtually every other game that I know of, both in modern day and of this era, is that it has randomized weather. Very unusual for a platform game. So effectively you could play through a level on this game or complete it and then play it another time, and the level will take on sort of like a different, you know, it'll look different, and I think it also impacts the way in which you can play when you've got like rain or snow. Yeah, just very unusual. You don't get games like that anymore, that you can have that real replayability factor based on the fact that the weather's different. The only times I really notice like weather changing on games, apart from like open world games, is like football games, for example. But yeah, I thought that was really cool, especially for 1995. Very innovative. And one of the things that's always drawn me to this, that's always sort of made me want to have this in my collection, is that box art. I just love that. I think it's just like really stands out. And if we look at the condition of the box, not mint, but certainly good enough. Bit of bowing, we can always iron that out a bit. It's a bit of a crease there, but generally speaking, really nice condition, and just a very uncommon game. Very uncommon, this one. This is one of those games, I often refer to the fact that I'm on sort of like Facebook groups with like what I call real Super Nintendo collectors, right? People that collect sealed and every extreme variant and don't want the tiniest nick on it. And this is one of them games that goes for a hell of a lot of money in very good condition. Because it's so uncommon anyway, I think finding this in like nice condition is very difficult. But I'm happy with the condition I've got. Nice manual, as we can see. Been put in like some sort of manual protector, which is cool. And then obviously the cartridge itself, wonderful. And just, yeah, just one of them games. This was the last one that I added to the order. Originally it was just going to be a 2-game order. And then I saw that one and I was like, I've got to ask how much. And we were able to get to a good deal for me to add that one. And yeah, like I say, just adding another cartoon themed game out of a 90s platformer is, yeah, everything that I'm about. But that takes me to the last game. A game which I knew I had to get. I just really wanted this. But it's just one that you just do not see. You never see this. Very, very rare. One recently sold on eBay. Very recently, like a week or so ago. And it sold for £265. That did come with, I think it came with a map. It's either a map or a poster. Mine doesn't have that. Otherwise, it is complete. It does have manual, everything else. But yeah, that game is... Oh, and it's in really nice condition as well. Probably the best condition of the three, actually. ActRaiser 2. Developed by Quintet and published by Enix, this is somewhat of a polarizing game. The reason being is the first ActRaiser sort of jumped between platforming levels and then what I think they describe as like God levels, like God mode is what people call it. People might call it strategy, but I think it can also be referred to as like God mode, where you sort of effectively play God. They sort of took that element out and just left this one as a standard sort of action platformer. I'm going to be honest, as much as the first one's a classic and it's much revered, I've got it right here, I never cared for those like God simulating levels. I never cared for that. I always wanted to get back into the platforming action. So while some people criticise that had been taken out, and I get that, if you love the original, you don't want to see things like that removed, but I don't mind, because those levels, to be honest, somewhat annoyed me. I wanted to get back to the platforming, and this is a pure platformer. And as you'll be seeing on screen now, genuinely some of the best graphics ever released on the Super Nintendo. It's very macabre in its graphical style. There's not too many games like this, and whilst I think graphics generally look better on the Super Nintendo than they do on the Mega Drive, there are elements of this that remind me of a Mega Drive game. You know, it's almost very more macabre, a little bit more fantasy, if you like. Yeah, it's one of them games that sort of would feel at home, I think, on the Mega Drive. It's an unbelievable game to look at. The box art is, I mean, it's just a piece of art, right? Absolutely phenomenal. The issue with this game, from what I understand, is how difficult it is. Apparently, because I watched a review on it and they basically said, do not sit there admiring the beauty of the artwork with your mouth open, because you will die and die again and die again. And I think that's one of the things that sort of led to criticism of this game. It's almost too difficult. From what I understand, the enemies all move faster than you. You can't just sort of like run through this. You have to do it very slowly, very methodically to make through the level. But I mean, with pixel art this beautiful, I want to find out for myself. I really do. Because it'd be interesting for me to know whether I prefer this to the original, given that I wasn't a fan of those God building levels on the original one. But yeah, just very, very happy to add this. Again, like I say, you don't know when these games are going to become available. And this is, yeah, quite a hard game to find, an expensive one at that. The cheapest one of these currently available on eBay is £265. And like I say, one was purchased semi-recently for £251, but that did contain, I think it's a map. It's either a map or a poster. But let's see what we did get. Like I say, of the three, this is probably the best condition cardboard. No real issues with this at all. That on the back is just a price sticker. That will come off. There's no damage to the actual artwork, which is great. Manual's very nice. Doesn't seem to be any damage to the manual. What else have we got? Just the precautions booklet. And then, of course, the cartridge itself. And yeah, I think if you're a Super Nintendo collector watching, you'll know why I was so excited, right? I mean, just, yeah, delighted. absolutely delighted. Whilst I love collecting, I love hunting, I love going out, I love wheeling and dealing, I love all this stuff. Still to this day, there's that magic of Super Nintendo, man, that makes me feel like a kid. It's just, there's nothing for me that quite compares to getting rare Nintendo cardboard in my hands that I've been sort of purveying for a long time. And yeah, I've got that sort of feeling right now, man. Absolutely buzzing with this. I can't wait now to get these cleaned up a little bit, get them in some box protectors, shuffle around the Super Nintendo wall, get them in place, and I need to get through Prince of Persia, right? I'm still really enjoying that, but I really want to get into ActRaiser 2, so that might well be next on the gaming backlog, but yeah, absolutely buzzing. Let's get them on the wall. So before we can get these beauties added to the Super Nintendo wall, I've just got this small sticker to remove off ActRaiser 3. It looks to me like a Woolworth sticker. Yeah. So we're going to quickly remove that, and then we're going to place them. There we go. Let's do this. Okay, so first things first, we're going to head to the cartoon section of the SNES wall. I think in order to make space, what I'm going to have to do is get rid of Mr. Nuts. And sadly, SimCity. Love this game, absolute classic, but this can join SimCity 2000, which has already been previously relegated. Where is it? I don't even know where it is, somewhere along this bottom shelf. There we go. So it can join SimCity 2000 down here. That will allow us to put Asterix and Obelix up here in this corner, just like that. Okay, next up, ActRaiser 2. Now, this needs to go in and around the heavy hitters. First things first, we need to put the original ActRaiser back where it was. And then we need to make a decision about which game can be interchanged for ActRaiser 2. Don't really want to get rid of Ghoul Patrol because that pairs with zombies. Everything in here is part of a set, which makes it a bit more difficult. What can we get rid of? We can theoretically move Adventure Island, which means all of the Mario titles can go down, which means a game like Run Saber can be swapped out, right? I think so. I'm doing this as I go along, clearly. Which means I can put ActRaiser there, ActRaiser 2 there. I don't like these two next to each other because they're both predominantly black artwork. I'd rather separate it a bit, so I think we'll switch Double Dragon out and put that side of ActRaiser. Then Run Saber can go there. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the SNES wall updated. Beautiful.
Ghetto.
Even though it's freezing cold, even though I'm going on the game hunt of all game hunts this weekend for that epic road trip that I've been speaking about, I still had to come and get my midweek game hunt fix. I'm starting to come to Lichfield. I've had a lot of success here before. Also, there's a CEX just in front of me actually, so we'll be able to take in those games that we found in the charity shops earlier in the week. So yeah man, let's get to it.
worked out really nicely. I got a cheap game, and a game I say a lot I've been actively pursuing. A game that you'd probably be surprised I don't already have in my collection, but the price keeps going up. Whenever you see it, it's in bad condition. But more about that when we get back and I show you. The guy that served me actually watches the channel. He said he's seen the room tour and stuff like that, so I had a good chat with him. So it's always nice when that happens. So yeah, great start to the Litchfield hunt. There's so many charity shops, so we'll probably just do like a bit of a quick montage now of the myriad of charity shops that I'm about to go and look at. Again, wish me luck.
Back from Litchfield, and yeah, I just couldn't resist doing a little midweek game hunt. I'm very glad I went. Even though I didn't really find anything in the charity shops, it was worth the trip for what I picked up at CEX alone. Not only that, I came home to a parcel, so we're going to get into that straight away. This is something I said I wouldn't do. This is a PS3 Essential that I ordered on eBay. Now, the reason I did this was, if you watched last week's vlog, you saw that I've managed to get a list of the PS3 Essentials. But for some reason, the Ratchet & Clank games were missing from the list. So I started to investigate, and I was trying to find which Ratchet & Clank games had PS3 Essentials. I already had one. I had, is it A Crank in Time? So I've got that one. And then I was looking. For what I could understand, there's only one other PS3 Essential in the Ratchet & Clank series. And I found a listing that was basically, I think it was £5, where CEX sell it for £4. So if I was ever have to order it online, it would have cost me, it's been a long day, £7 with postage. So yeah, I just thought to myself, you know what, just buy it now, because yeah, I mean, why not? So I still intend to find the majority of games in person, but I broke my rule a little bit on this one because it does seem to be somewhat uncommon. I've never seen it before, and that is Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. So Tools of Destruction was released in 2007. Like the rest of the series, it's an action-adventure platformer. This is the 5th release in the series, but it's actually one of 7 different releases on the PlayStation 3, including like HD remasters and such. But like I said, I think there's only 2 Essentials. Let me know if I'm wrong. Very popular upon its release. It's got like a 9.4 on IGN, and at the time it was regarded by many as being the best Ratchet & Clank release up until that point. So yeah, just nice to complete the Ratchet & Clank Essentials game. So that's both of them now. It's always nice when people package it in such a way. We've got the nice Essentials disc and everything. And like I say, for £5 posted, I mean, you can't really ask for much more. Ratchet & Clank is one of those series that I've never really put enough time into. I've heard nothing but good things. There's no reason why I wouldn't like it. I've seen the gameplay. Obviously, I know what kind of games they are. I did play the newest one on the PlayStation 5. I dabbled, but I didn't really get myself too into it. I didn't give it too much of a chance. But it's one of them games I just need to sit down one day, force myself to play through, and yeah, just get more acquainted with them. So I'll probably sort of like, what I often do with games like this is I look at YouTube videos and content online to see how people rank them and see which ones I think maybe I'd prefer, and then I'll try and jump into that one. But yeah, it wouldn't be a Ghetto vlog without a PS3 Essentials added to the sets. I think that makes it 74 now, so we're almost, yeah, we're getting there, aren't we, slowly but surely. As I say, my list is bang on 200 at the moment, so yeah, there we go. That's the first game that was waiting for me when I got back, and This next one is something I've been trying to find for a little while. It's one of them games that's so cheap in CEX that I don't want to buy it online because I don't want to pay postage for it. This is actually one of the games that I picked up in, where did we go? I went to Stoke a couple of weeks back. And if you remember, there was a shop I went into and I kind of alluded to the fact that the prices weren't where I wanted them to be. One of the games that I picked up thinking, oh, I'll buy it, was this, but it was significantly more than the £1.50 CEX charge for it. And that game is Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. So this was a 2010 release in the franchise, and it comes after the PS2 trilogy. I also think this one came after the game which was just self-titled, Prince of Persia, for the more modern systems. It's a series that, obviously, I'm currently playing. I'm currently playing the newest game on the Switch. I'm absolutely loving it. I have the Super Nintendo release. I remember playing it when I was younger. And from what I hear, the original trilogy, well, sorry, not the original trilogy, but the PS2 trilogy is very good. The HD version of that you can only get on the PS3, sadly, you can't get it on the 360, is somewhat expensive at the moment. So I'm kind of going to dip my toes in with this one, and then I might sort of go into that from there. But yeah, just sort of a franchise which I'm sort of delving into the back catalogue of. And for £1.50, sadly, the case itself isn't great. It looks a bit battered, but you know, I've got plenty of cases I can switch it out with, and like I said, £1.50, what are you going to do? I don't want to leave it behind. I think this is like a fresh story from what I understand. It might be a bit of maybe a prequel set in between two other releases. I did watch a video not too long ago, similar to what I was just mentioning about Ratchet & Clank, of somebody like ranking them, and that's kind of what inspired me to sort of delve back into it. But with this one being so cheap, with it being on a HD system and the 360, which I'm currently actively collecting for, I figured this was a good place to start once the most recent one gets finished anyway. So yeah, that's Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. And that takes me to this purchase. Now, this is something that, like I say, I've been wanting for a long time. It's just, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's overpriced, and it probably is. Even this theoretically is overpriced, although it's cheaper than what it's currently going for on eBay. It's a game you'll be very surprised that I don't already own. I own it. Right, the easiest way to do it is just to show it you, then we can discuss it. So that is the God of War 2, but it's the special edition. So I, of course, own God of War. I think I own the God of War Volume 1 PS3 HD remasters at least, I think, 3 times. I own it on the Essentials. I own it as part of the Pandora's Box collection. I own it as a different bigger box PS3 version. So I mean, I own the game, I've played through the game, I love the game, but I don't have it in its original format. And the reason being is, because actually I've had a couple of people say to me in the comment section before now, why haven't you got God of War when they've seen my PS2 collection? And the reason being is, because I want God of War 2 in this format. Whenever I see this in person, whether it's at game stores, CEX, whatever, it's always battered. It's not cheap. As you can see on the side, it's £32. But that's a good price. If you look on eBay, you're paying about £40 by the time you've had it posted. And yeah, you can't argue with this condition. The condition's really nice. And it would just seem like fate, right? I'd recently made a private sale to somebody. And I had cash in my hand. And it was there, and it was in good condition. And yeah, sometimes you just got to roll with it, right? It just seemed like it was meant to be. So you'll be seeing now on screen everything that this comes with. I've not had a proper look at it yet, to be honest. What? Hang on. What's going on here? Right, okay. This is mad. Right, okay, so you remember me saying when I came out of CEX, shout out to the guy that served me, because he watches the channel and stuff. Maybe he hates the channel because he's not put the discs in it. That is mad. No way, look at that. That is crazy. Right, we're gonna have to get this sorted out. That's £32 I've spent. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get this sorted out. If it was just the disc itself, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd get it sorted out, obviously, because I paid for it. But there's also a bonus disc of some sort now missing. Right, okay. I'll contact my friend that works at CEX. We'll see if we can get this sorted out. But yeah, That's a first. Let this be a lesson to anybody watching, right? Make sure you're checking your games before you leave. I got duped into a false sense of security, chatting with him, telling me how much he likes the room, he likes the channel. To be fair, I probably distracted him as much as he distracted me. But yeah, let's get that sorted out, shall we? On that note, we'll have to pick that one up next week. Wow, that's kind of put a dampener on that one, hasn't it? Jeez. I'm like, for once I'm lost for words, but we'll get it sorted. And guys, that's going to do it for this week's Ghetto vlog on a somewhat dour note. But what a week it's been. I had those Grails for the Super Nintendo. We found some empty boxes. Just can't believe that. Yeah, all that, as well as getting the room sorted, as well as getting the room tour done, filmed, shot, edited, because it's been a short week, because I'm heading out on the road trip, and that's going to come in very, very soon for me, just a couple of days. I need to get this vlog edited now. I need to get myself ready for the road trip, because I cannot wait, let me tell you. I'm so excited, like a kid at Christmas. I'm going away with friends, like-minded people, collectors, and yeah, I just can't wait. It's going to be one hell of a trip. I'm looking forward to living it. I'm looking forward to filming it and bringing it alive to you guys, because I know I'm going to capture the vibe of the weekend. Obviously, the crescendo of that is the Leeds Retro Game Market, which is the Saturday before. You're seeing this on the Sunday. So there's never been a better time to subscribe to the Retro Ghetto. We're going to the arcade club there. We're going to be hitting Sore Thumb Gaming up in York, which is a fantastic shop. It's been way too long since I've been, and yeah, as you can tell, I'm very, very excited. Keep it locked to the channel. It's all coming very soon. The next few videos, you're going to be seeing the entire trip. So, as always, play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you real soon, in a bit. I cannot believe that.
Welcome to the Retro Ghetto.
Yeah.
Lock into the retro ghetto.